What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Modern Times. We have some absolutely huge news that just dropped. We're talking about a potential game changer in the world of crypto, something that could send Bitcoin and Ethereum to the moon. Seriously, this is massive. President Trump just announced the creation of a U.S. strategic crypto reserve. You heard that right? The government is officially holding cryptocurrency as a strategic national asset. Now, you might be thinking, wait, what does this even mean? Don't worry, I'm going to break it all down for you. In this video, we're diving deep into the U.S. Strategic Crypto Reserve, analyzing which cryptos made the cut and why. We'll also explore what this means for the future of digital assets and, of course, the potential impact on your portfolio. First up, we have the OG cryptocurrency, the one that started it all, Bitcoin. It's no surprise that Bitcoin snagged the top spot on the U.S. Strategic Crypto Reserve list. I mean, it's like the gold standard of crypto, right? But why Bitcoin? Well, for starters, it's often seen as digital gold. Just like gold, Bitcoin has a limited supply, only 21 million coins will ever exist. This scarcity is a big reason why people see it as a hedge against inflation. When the value of the dollar goes down, Bitcoin tends to go up. Think about it, governments print more money all the time, but Bitcoin, nope, its supply is hard capped. That makes it a valuable asset, especially in times of economic uncertainty. And let's be real, there's been a lot of that lately, so it's no wonder that institutions and even entire countries are starting to add Bitcoin to their reserves. El Salvador even made it legal tender. Another key factor that makes Bitcoin so attractive, especially for a strategic reserve, is its decentralization. Unlike traditional currencies controlled by governments and central banks, Bitcoin operates on a decentralized network. This means no single entity can control or manipulate Bitcoin. It's governed by a distributed network of computers around the world, making it incredibly secure and resistant to censorship. This decentralized nature is a huge deal. It means that governments can't just freeze assets or shut down the network. It gives individuals more control over their own money, which is a powerful concept. And because of its robust security and censorship resistance, Bitcoin is considered one of the safest digital assets out there. making them faster, cheaper, and more accessible for everyone. Think about it. Businesses could pay their overseas suppliers instantly. Individuals could send remittances to their families back home without getting slammed with exorbitant fees. And governments could even use XRP for international aid and disaster relief efforts, getting funds to those in need more efficiently. Alright, let's talk Solana. This one might be a bit under the radar for some people, but trust me, it deserves your attention. Solana is all about speed, and I'm not talking about your grandma's dial-up speed. I'm talking lightning-fast, warp-speed transactions. We're talking about a blockchain that can handle a staggering 65,000 transactions per second. To put that in perspective, that's faster than Visa and MasterCard combined. This kind of speed is crucial for any government application that requires real-time data and high throughput. Finally, let's talk about Cardano. Now, Cardano is a bit different from the other cryptocurrencies we've discussed. It takes a more academic, research-driven approach to blockchain technology. This isn't about hype or getting rich quick. It's about building a secure, sustainable, and scalable blockchain for the future. And that's reflected in Cardano's development. It's built on peer-reviewed research and rigorous academic standards. Every step of the way, Cardano has prioritized security, scalability, and sustainability. Now I know what you're thinking, that sounds kind of boring, right? Well, hear me out. In the long run, this academic approach could give Cardano a significant advantage. Now let's talk about XRP. You see that little remittance corridor over there? That's where XRP thrives. It's all about moving money across borders quickly and cheaply. We're talking about a world where sending money internationally is as easy and affordable as sending a text message. Imagine the possibilities if we can eliminate those hefty international transfer fees and those agonizing wait times. That's the potential XRP brings to the table. This is not just some pie-in-the-sky idea, guys. XRP is already being used by banks and financial institutions around the world to do just that. Move money quickly and efficiently. It's like the financial equivalent of a high-speed rail compared to, like, a horse and buggy. And the craziest part? This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about a technology that could potentially replace the SWIFT system. Okay, so we just talked about how XRP is crazy fast and cheap for moving money across borders. But here's where it gets really interesting. 1,000 transactions per second. You wouldn't want your retirement account built on something flashy and untested, right? You want something stable, secure, and reliable. That's where Cardano comes in. Cardano is designed to be a foundational layer for critical applications. It's not just about making a quick buck on meme coins, it's about creating systems that are secure, transparent, and built to last. And that's exactly what a government needs when it comes to things like digital identity, voting, and managing sensitive data. So, while Cardano might not be the flashiest crypto out there, its focus on long-term stability and security makes it a surprisingly strategic choice for the US government. Alright, so we've gone deep on the 5 cryptos in the US Strategic Reserve: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. But the big question is, did they pick the right ones? Now, I'm not in the Oval Office making these calls, but looking at this list, it's clear they're thinking strategically. They've got the blue chip players like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they're also hedging their bets with picks like Solana and Cardano, which offer unique advantages in terms of speed, scalability, and security. It's a diversified portfolio, which is smart. It shows that they're not putting all their eggs in one basket and are instead trying to cover their bases across different use cases. But as with any investment, there are potential winners and losers here. Alright guys, we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about the 5 cryptos in the US Strategic Reserve, why they were chosen, and what it all means for the future of crypto. But this isn't the end of the conversation, it's just the beginning. Now I want to hear from you. Did the government choose the right cryptos? Should they have added Polkadot, Avalanche, or Chainlink? Will this push crypto to the next level, or bring in more regulations? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more crypto updates. See you in the next